Welcome. Today we're really digging into the Norse worldview. You see, for every Viking expedition, their belief system was two things at once. It was the anchor that held them to their identity, but it was also the sail that drove them into the unknown.
Okay, let's just get this out of the way right now. Forget the comic book caricatures. For the Norse, mythology wasn't just a collection of stories. It was the very operating system for their reality, shaping everything from their laws to their absolute ferocity in battle. The mythical and the real, they were basically the same thing.
So to even begin to understand their world, you have to understand their map. Not a map of the Earth, but a map of all existence. And that map, well, it begins before time itself, in a great silent void.
They called it Ginnungagap, the yawning abyss. And in this nothingness, you had two extremes: the lethal primordial cold of a realm called Niflheim, and the absolute raging fire of another called Muspelheim. And when those two opposites clashed, the first being emerged, a frost giant named Ymir, from whose body the entire world would eventually be made.
Now, check this out. The first gods, Odin and his brothers Vili and Ve, they slew this giant. And they didn't just conquer chaos, they literally built our world from its corpse. His flesh became the earth, his blood the oceans, his skull the sky. And from two pieces of driftwood that washed ashore, they created the very first humans, Ask and Embla, giving us a home in the middle of it all.
And holding this entire creation together was Yggdrasil. And this was no metaphor. To the Norse, this was a real, living, cosmic ash tree, the central pillar of reality. Its branches stretched up into the heavens, and its roots dug deep into the darkest, most mysterious worlds.
And on that tree hung the 9 worlds. You can see you've got realms of pure chaos, like Jotunheimer, home of the giants. And then you have places of incredible craft, like Svartalfheimr, where the master dwarven smiths lived. But look right there in the center. That's Midgard, the middle enclosure. That's our world. And high above, in the branches, is Asgard, the home of the gods, connected to us by a burning rainbow bridge called Bifrost.
So you've got this incredible cosmos, but who's actually running the show? Well, let's just say it wasn't one big happy family of deities.
The gods themselves were actually split into two rival families. You had the Aesir, who were all about power, war, and wisdom. Think Odin and Thor. And then you had the Vanir, who governed fertility, peace, and prosperity. That's Freyr and Freya. They actually went to war with each other, but eventually they made peace and united their powers to rule together.
The chief of the Aesir was Odin, the All-Father. But he wasn't just a king. He was this relentless, almost obsessive seeker of wisdom. And he paid an absolutely brutal price for it. He sacrificed his own eye just for a single drink from the Well of Wisdom. And he even hung himself from Yggdrasil for 9 days and 9 nights, wounded with a spear in a ritual death to unlock the secrets of the runes for everyone.
Now, alongside Odin, you had other massive figures. Of course, there was the mighty Thor, the common person's god, protector of humanity. And then you had the Vanir twins, Freya, a powerful goddess of love, war, and a mysterious magic called Seidr. She actually claimed half of all slain warriors for her own hall, while Odin's warrior maidens, the Valkyries, chose the other half for Valhalla. And her brother Freyr, he was the one who made sure the harvests were good and the land was fertile.
But here's the thing. Even these gods, with all their power, all their magic, all their might, they were not in control of their own destinies. Because their lives, and the life of every single being in the cosmos, was governed by this number, 3. This refers to the Norns. These were 3 mysterious female beings who lived at the very base of Yggdrasil, and they sat there spinning the thread of fate for every single god and mortal, and their decisions were final. Urther, Verdandi, and Skuld. They represented what was, what is, and what must be. And not even Odin could change what they wove. So, you've got this epic cosmic map, these powerful but fated gods, but what does any of this actually mean for the average Viking trying to survive the winter? How did it all translate into real life?
Well, their religion wasn't really about scripture or private faith. It was all about action. It was centered on these really practical, communal rituals that were designed to keep the balance between humanity, the spirits of the land, and the gods themselves.
And the central ritual here was the Blót. This was a massive, communal sacrifice held for key moments like the beginning of winter or for victory in summer. Animal blood was sprinkled over everyone and everything to sanctify the community. And here's the crucial part. Every legal oath, every contract, was sworn on a sacred ring that had been dipped in that sacrificial blood. It's how you knew a promise would be kept. And if things got truly desperate, well, the sagas tell us a Swedish king named Damaldi was sacrificed by his own people to end a devastating famine. The price could be incredibly high.
And you see this worldview everywhere. They believed the land itself was alive with spirits, the land vetter. And this belief was so strong, so real, that one of the very first laws in Iceland required all ships to remove their scary-looking dragon prows before they approached the shore, just so they wouldn't frighten the local spirits. Now, this deep, deep belief in an unchangeable fate, in a destiny spun by the Norns, it all led to one place, a grand final prophecy. An inevitable end that completely defined their attitude about life and about death. That prophecy was Ragnarök, the Twilight of the gods. And you have to understand, this wasn't a maybe, it wasn't a possibility, it was a known future, a cataclysmic final battle where the world would end and the gods themselves were fated to die. And the prophecy was chillingly specific. It foretold how the sun would go black, how Odin would be swallowed whole by a monstrous wolf, and how Thor, after finally killing his arch-nemesis, the world serpent, would take 9 steps and die from its venom. The whole cosmos would be consumed by fire. But, and this is so important, Ragnarök wasn't just an end. It was also a rebirth. The prophecy promised that from the ashes of that destruction, a new, green, fertile world would rise. And the few surviving gods would find the golden game pieces of their fallen parents in the grass, ready to start the whole thing over again.
So what's the takeaway from all of this? This whole incredible worldview, the cosmic tree, the fated gods, the fiery end, it all boiled down to a very clear and practical code for how you should live your one short life.
This idea is captured perfectly in the Havamal, a collection of Old Norse wisdom. It says, "Wealth dies, kinsmen die, you yourself must die. But one thing I know that never dies, the fame of a dead man's deeds." Think about that. In a world where your death is already written in the stars, the only things that really matter, the only things that are truly immortal, are your courage, your honor, and the reputation you leave behind.
And you see, this is why knowing their end didn't lead to despair. Just the opposite. It created this incredible bravery. This fatalism made them fearless in the face of a pre-written ending, and it pushed them to live a life that was absolutely worthy of being remembered. So this cosmic framework, it shaped the gods, it shaped their values, and it also gave rise to a very rigid social structure right here on Earth. Join us for our next explainer, where we're going to dive into that hierarchy of jarls, carls, and thralls that structured every single aspect of Viking society.